bang bounce. Old school candy paint down. Bad chicks, they from down south. Hey, what you want? Yeah.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, BQ Quick Review. I'm your host, BQ. And today we are going to be talking about a topic that I wanted to talk about for a little bit. You guys see the title. Toxic masculinity does not exist. I'm serious about this one, guys. You guys probably gonna hate me on this one, but it is what it is. But I gotta just put this out there. And how this topic came up, I was talking with someone, and they were talking with a friend, and they were talking about dates that they've been on. They've been on a date with this guy or whatever, and he did something. They were playing a game or something like that. They were doing some type of activity and playing a game, and she was beating this guy, and the guy was so mad about losing and just being, really bad and just, not being a good sport. And she said that it was toxic masculinity. I had to tell her that it wasn't toxic masculinity. It was just that the person was just a sore loser. There's nothing masculine about being a sore loser. And I think the word toxic gets thrown around everywhere so loosely nowadays, and especially with labeling masculinity toxic. And I have a really big problem with this, because there's nothing toxic about being masculine. There's just men out there with bad traits and maybe toxic traits, but it doesn't inherently make them, that correlate with toxic masculinity or masculinity itself. So essentially, I seen this term thrown around. A lot of guys have toxic masculinity and all this stuff, and they equate guys that have bad traits with being masculine, when actually it's quite the opposite. Just in that example of that situation, a masculine man would wouldn't be a sore loser if they lose a game at something. They would take up for it and congratulate the person on winning. They're not going to be a sore loser and pout about it and everything. A lot of stuff gets equated to toxic traits being masculine. And I know a lot of men in my life, whether it be friends, co-workers, siblings. I grew up with 5 older brothers, if you guys didn't know. And, they all have their things. Nobody's perfect. They all have things that, that's not bad traits about them. I have bad traits about myself. But does that mean that they're toxic, or that means that masculinity is toxic, or that has to do with masculinity? No, there's just people in the world with bad, traits. That's all it really is. And we need to stop labeling people as toxic and labeling masculinity toxic. It's ridiculous. It's honestly really ridiculous. Because, if you look at it, there's a lot of women with bad traits. Women do bad things too. On a grand scale, just as much as men, maybe in different ways or different things they do, but they do bad things also. But I never hear the term of toxic femininity. They're never labeling femininity toxic, but they quick to label masculinity toxic. And just so make this all sum up, it's just bad people out there, guys. It's bad guys out there. Okay? It's bad guys out there, and this isn't a video to discount that, but those guys that are bad and those guys that have bad traits, it doesn't mean that they're inherently masculine, or just being a man means you're toxic or anything like that. Just as femininity isn't toxic, masculinity isn't toxic either. So, yeah, that's just my take on it. You know, we gotta stop throwing this toxic thing around, and this toxic masculinity thing needs to freaking die out, because there's nothing toxic about being masculine and stuff. And I think people just throw a lot of bad traits out there that a lot of men have and equate that to being masculine, and in reality that's not the case. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this short video today, short talk with you guys today. I'm going to be doing an Instagram talk. I want to see what you guys think. Is toxic masculinity real? I don't believe it is, but come join me on my Instagram and let's talk about it. Like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. BQ Quick Review. You know how we do.
Pick up the pieces and patches I gotta be, cause the edges are jagged. I do not call my piece lessons with real beef, they be squeezing them ratchets. You not the same person that you on the internet, I've been smelling some catfish. Don't condone violence cause we move in silence, you know that they got it like Metal Gear Solid. Pick up the pieces and patches I gotta be, cause the edges are jagged. I do not call my piece lessons with real beef, they be squeezing them ratchets. You not the same person that you on the internet, I've been smelling some catfish. Don't condone violence cause we move in silence, you know that they got it like Metal Gear Solid.